Karen thought she ran the neighborhood, like the whole cul-de-sac was her personal kingdom, and every Amazon box was a national security threat. But trust me, she was about to find out she'd picked the wrong neighbor to mess with. It all started on a lazy Friday evening. I just stepped outside to grab an Amazon package when I noticed her. Arms folded tight, lips pursed like she'd been rehearsing her scolding all afternoon. The delivery truck hadn't even cleared the corner before she pounced. Without so much as a hello, she narrowed her eyes and said she was concerned about the kinds of packages I was bringing into my home. Concerned? Please. According to her, my deliveries looked suspicious, and she thought the HOA should start inspecting packages for contraband or drugs. Can you believe that? Who even says that out loud? I laughed, right in her face. Told her flat out it wasn't her business. That only made her stand taller, like she was the self-appointed sheriff of suburbia. Your defensiveness makes you look guilty, she said, all smug. Oh, really? Guess having privacy now counts as a crime. I brushed her off, took my box inside, and told myself she was just bored. But Karen, she didn't do bored. Later that evening, I spotted her SUV creeping past my driveway, her head sticking out the window like a nosy meerkat. And the next morning, there she was again, walking that yappy dog right up to the edge of my yard, eyes glued to my porch like she was expecting another drop-off. At first, I tried to ignore it, but the more I watched, the clearer it got. This wasn't casual curiosity. This was surveillance. She was tracking every delivery truck like it was a sting operation. UPS, FedEx, even the flower van, she'd show up every time. That's when I realized this wasn't going to stop. Not until I did something about it. Before we go any further, comment where in the world you are watching from, and make sure to subscribe to Silent Divide Tales, because tomorrow's story is one you don't want to miss. From that day on, every time I got a delivery, it felt off, like someone had already been there before me. The tape would be slightly peeled, the box a little lighter than it should have been. At first, I thought maybe the shipping company messed up. You know, warehouse mistakes happen. But then small things started vanishing. A phone charger, a new pair of earbuds, even a set of kitchen knives. And who else could it be? In this neighborhood, there was only one person nosy enough, or crazy enough, to do something like that. Karen. But suspicion alone wasn't enough. I needed proof. So one Friday night, I went through my porch cam footage. Sure enough, there was a clip of a box being lifted right off the mat. My heart raced, but the camera angle was too low. All I got was a pair of sneakers and the package disappearing out of frame. That wasn't going to cut it. So I went next door and asked my neighbor if I could check his doorbell cam. Lucky for me, it faced my porch from the side. And that's where the smoking gun showed up. Clear as day, Karen. Sunglasses sliding down her nose, glancing left and right before scooping up my package like she owned it. Bold as ever, she strutted back to her driveway, swinging it under her arm with that signature smug bounce in her step. Can you believe the nerve? She didn't even try to hide it. Now, most people would have stormed straight to her door and demanded answers, maybe even called the cops. But me? Nah, I wanted something better, something poetic, because if Karen loved opening my boxes so much, then I'd give her one she'd never forget. That night, as I replayed the footage again and again, an idea began to take shape. A plan so perfect, it almost made me laugh out loud. But before I tell you what it was, just know, what came next wasn't revenge. It was justice with a side of karma. So the plan was simple, but beautifully evil. I decided to give Karen a special delivery of her own, one that'd stick in her memory for life. The next morning, I drove straight to a local exotic pet shop. The place smelled like reptile tanks and heat lamps, and the clerk, a skinny guy with too many tattoos, asked what kind of lizard I owned. I just smiled and said, "No lizard, just a little project." He blinked, uneasy, as I handed him cash for 2 deli cups full of feeder roaches, the kind used for snakes and bearded dragons. Tiny, fast, and absolutely disgusting. Perfect. Back home, I lined a sturdy shipping box with shredded paper, slipped the cups inside, and sealed it tight. I even printed a fake shipping label and slapped on a big red Fraggle, handle with care. It looked legit. Too legit. Then came the waiting game. I set the box right in the middle of my porch, angled both my porch cam and my neighbor's camera, turned off the lights, and sat back behind the blinds. Not even an hour passed before she appeared. Karen in full predator mode. Sunglasses on, phone in hand, that same self-righteous strut like she owned the entire street. She looked left, then right. And just like that, she reached for the box. I swear I could feel the adrenaline through the glass. She tugged at the tape, peeled the top open just a few inches, and then all hell broke loose. Roaches exploded out like confetti from a nightmare. One shot up her arm, another disappeared down her sleeve, and within seconds they were everywhere. Her scream could have shattered windows. She dropped the box, but that just released more, skittering across the porch, her legs, even her hair. Neighbors came running. One guy dropped his rake. Kids started shrieking, half in horror, half in laughter. Karen spun in circles, slapping herself like she was on fire, shaking and screaming until the last roach dropped. And me? I watched every glorious second, two cameras rolling. Karen's scream echoed down the cul-de-sac like a siren. She was flailing, stomping, smacking her own arms, blouse half torn, hair wild, looking like a woman possessed. And let me tell you, the neighborhood was loving it. A few people stepped outside, jaws dropped. Others, they were laughing so hard they could barely stand. One guy dropped his rake. The couple across the street were doubled over, crying from laughter. Kids pointed and screamed, "Miss Karen's dancing with bugs!" And me, I couldn't hold it in. I laughed so hard my stomach hurt. That, of course, only made her angrier. She spun toward my porch, eyes blazing, shrieking, "You'll pay for this! You'll pay!" But the crowd wasn't on her side. Phones were out. Cameras were rolling. By the next morning, her meltdown had become the neighborhood's favorite show. Karen tried to save face. She stormed into the HOA chat claiming I'd attacked her with vermin. Cute story. But before she could get her pity party started, the videos hit group chats. Memes popped up overnight. Screenshots of her mid-scream with captions like "Package Inspector General" and "Neighborhood Watchdog, now with roaches." It was over for her. I went straight to the police with both camera angles, mine and my neighbor's, showing her stealing packages multiple times. They didn't even laugh, though they wanted to. They filed the report, and soon after, we were in court. Karen tried every excuse. She claimed she was checking for suspicious mail. My lawyer just hit play on the footage. Karen sneaking, Karen stealing, Karen screaming with roaches crawling up her neck. Even the stenographer cracked a smile. The judge didn't hesitate. She was ordered to pay for every stolen item, cover damages, over 10 grand total, and got probation for theft. And the HOA, they stripped her of her neighborhood watch title and replaced her with the neighbor whose camera exposed her. Now, every time she walks past my porch, she keeps her head down. My packages, untouched. And in this neighborhood, her legacy is sealed forever. The woman who got schooled by roaches on camera. Before you go, tell me this. Do you think she got what she deserved? And don't forget to subscribe to Silent Divide Tales, where karma always delivers on time.